Good evening. The Philippine inflation rate rose further to 8.7% in January 2023, the highest since November 2008, according to the Philippine Statistics Authority. To tell us more, here's Daphne Galvez reporting live. Daphne?
Neil, inflation in the Philippines rose to 8.7% in January this year, the fastest since November 2008. According to the Philippine Statistics Authority, January's inflation rate is also faster than the 8.1% recorded in December last year, which was previously thought to have been the peak. The PSA said the high inflation rate was mainly driven by increases in housing, rentals, electricity and water rates, and the prices of vegetables, milk, eggs, fruits, and nuts. Core inflation also rose to 7.4% in January from the 6.9% in December. With the increase in inflation rate, President Bongbong Marcos said it only means that the measures his administration has taken have not yet gone through the system. He acknowledged that the effect of these measures, which included the importation of many agricultural products to bring down their prices, will take time. Marcos, however, expressed optimism that the inflation rate will eventually go down with a dip in the prices of fuel and agricultural products. He said he sincerely believes that this is going to be as high as it's going to get. According to the National Economic Development Authority, ramping up agricultural productivity, augmenting food supply, and ensuring energy security are among the measures the government is implementing to hamper upward price pressures. The government is particularly augmenting supply with the temporary easing of import restrictions, price monitoring, and targeted social support. Back to you, Neil.
That's Daphne Galvez reporting live. The death toll across Turkey and Syria surpasses 5,000 after a major earthquake struck the two countries. 60 Filipinos in Syria were affected by the quake, according to the Department of Foreign Affairs. Denisa Fernandez fills us in with the details live. Denisa?
The confirmed death toll across Turkey and Syria has soared above 5,000 after a swarm of strong tremors near the two countries' border, the largest of which measured at a massive 7.8 magnitude, a Reuters report said. Turkish and Syrian disaster response teams report more than 5,600 buildings have been flattened across several cities, including many multi-story apartment blocks that were filled with sleeping residents when the first quake struck. There are fears that toll will rise inexorably, with World Health Organization officials estimating up to 20,000 may have died. Despite freezing temperatures, terrified residents spent the night on the streets, huddling around fires for warmth. Some of the heaviest devastation occurred near the quake's epicenter between Kahramanmaraş and Gaziantep, where entire city blocks lay in ruins under gathering snow. Some 20,000 people have so far been reported injured. Officials said 3 major airports have been rendered inoperable, complicating deliveries of vital aid. A winter blizzard has covered major roads into the area in ice and snow. The Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, on the other hand, reported that the major earthquake that rocked Syria has so far affected 60 Filipinos in the Middle Eastern country. Specifically, the DFA said 27 affected Filipinos were from Aleppo, 19 in Latakia, 11 in Tartus, and 3 in Hama. It, however, noted that no Filipino has been hurt by the disaster. The DFA also said it still has not received reports of any Filipino casualties in Turkey, which was also rattled by the deadly earthquake. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said that the Philippine government will send an 85-man team to Turkey to give aid to earthquake victims there. He says the Philippines will send blankets and winter clothing. Neil?
This is an unfortunate news, Denisa. We'll wait for developments on this story. That's Denisa Fernandez reporting live. President Bongbong Marcos called on the public to pay the correct amount of taxes on time, as the Bureau of Internal Revenue vowed to go after tax evaders. INQUIRER.net's palace reporter Daphne Galvez returns with her story. Daphne?
Neil, President Bongbong Marcos urged the public to pay the correct amount of taxes on time support the country's economic recovery and expansion. He called on the public to cooperate and coordinate with the government on how to improve the experience of the country's tax collection system.
I encourage the public to pay the correct amount of taxes on time to support the country's economic recovery and expansion so critical in this time. It is my confidence that you will continue to cooperate, collaborate, and coordinate with the government on how to improve the experience of our tax collection system.
The President also gave assurance to the public that his administration will remain committed to managing and utilizing their taxes for the benefit of all. He also commended the efforts of the Bureau of Internal Revenue in intensifying the crackdown on tax evaders and those who violated the tax code. For its part, the agency vowed to continue going after those who continue to evade their taxes. In December 2021, the BIR sent a demand letter to the Marquesas to pay their estate tax dues, which has amounted to about 203 billion pesos. A Supreme Court ruling showed that the Marquesas estate tax assessment of 23 billion became final and executory in March 1999. Marcos Jr. and his mother Imelda are co-administrators of the estate left by the Marcos patriarch who died in Hawaii in September 1989. In September last year, Marcos said his family's unpaid estate taxes should be reopened, saying they were never allowed to argue the case. Meanwhile, the president also backed the proposal to impose higher taxes on luxury goods, saying it is only reasonable to tax the consumption of such items. He was referring to House Bill number 6993, filed by House Committee on Ways and Means Chairman Joey Salceda, which seeks to raise the non-essential goods tax from 20% to 25% and to expand its coverage to more luxury items. Neil?
That's Daphne Galvez reporting live. The Department of Agriculture issued today a suggested retail price of 125 pesos per kilogram for red onions in Metro Manila wet markets. To tell us more, here's Jean Mangaluz reporting live. Jean?
Well, Neil, the Department of Agriculture has set the SRP for imported red onions to 125 pesos per kilogram in Metro Manila wet markets. According to the circular, this is to guide the consuming public on the reasonable prices of basic necessities in the market. This comes in light of weeks of onion prices, with the bulbs reaching up to 700 pesos per kilogram retail price during the holiday season. The DA's regular monitoring of basic necessities and prime commodities provided basis to set the SRP. The SRP is currently in effect for up to 60 days until it's revised. However, this does not mean that consumers everywhere will find the same price. DA Deputy Spokesperson Rex Estoperos previously stated that the SRP may not be followed by all markets. That's it from me, Neil. Back to you.
That's Jean Mangaluz reporting live. Next on Inquirer today. 2 Japanese fugitives suspected of being part of a crime ring deported. Senator Raffy Tulfo proposes licenses for liquor sellers and restricted social media access to help curb teenage pregnancies. And Kai Sotto signs with Japan B.League's Hiroshima. This Inquirer today will be back shortly.
Hello, I'm Paul Sumayaw.
I'm Jedi Directo, and we're owners of Barber Shop here in Laguna.
Barber is a wordplay between Barbie, which is kind of also a slur, no? Especially sa mga effeminate gays. But there was a viral video that came out na sabi ko na nga ba Barbie? Parang there was a na may batang pumili ng Barbie. We kind of led with that. And Barbie has always been associated with kabaklaan. And then we also paired it with Barbero, which is, the Filipino term for barbers. Sabi nila, haircuts are generally historically gendered, no? Barbershops are for men, salons are for women. And that's what Barbera is for. We wanted to create that conversation na hindi kailangan, may gender distinction ang haircuts ng babae at lalaki or anyone in between. Coming from personal experience, I would take two brothers to the barber shop. Kahit out and proud ako nun sa Camarines where I was young, I was in my teens. Still, it's uncomfortable because parang they would look at me. I had to sort of scale down the way I look imbes na I would go for the floral prints. Pag pupunta kami sa barbero ng kapambahayan, maluwag na basketball shorts. So I would borrow from uncles or cousins. That level of discomfort pa lang without even someone initiating it is really, kind of a horrific experience na parang nagagaling sa loob.
It's really more trying to act, boyish, diba? Kasi parang that's how you want to get treated normally, diba? Parang I was always conscious of, not trying to be too effeminate. Nung bata ako, conscious ako doon kasi parang may uncles, may titas would always call me out on that. Diba? Kasi parang dapat lalaki ganito.
Being a safe space essentially means that you're able to become your authentic self within that space. Kasi if may spaces na hindi safe for you, then of course you'd actually essentially look for a safe space. We would encounter customers, especially the trans-masculine customers. They kind of like the fact that we address them properly, especially yung mga, the trans-masculine lesbians. They kind of like the fact na we address them as sir or boss or chief. Kind of a horrifying story for them na pag pumunta sila ng salon, ma'am. Pag pumunta sa barbershop, ma'am pa din. May mga customers kami who would open up na sila mismo yung nag-open up. And that's how we liked it. Kasi the fact that they're opening up, that's a good sign for us na we're doing our job as a safe space.
Yung training talaga pinaka tumatak sa isip ko doon yung parang discrimination. Lahat ng nakakasalamuha mo, hindi mo pala alam yung tunay na gender, ganun. Baga parang respect mo lang.
We're trying to think about like parang what a queer barbershop should actually look like. Basically, we kind of like settled on the idea na it doesn't really have to parang show its queerness right off the bat, but announcing ourselves as queer owners who welcome anybody, diba, in this safe space.
Yeah.
Yun, it's enough.
Two Japanese fugitives suspected of being part of a crime ring involved in a series of violent robberies in their country have been deported today. Deported are Fujita Toshiya and Imamura Kyoto, both 38. Fujita, who was arrested in 2021, was tagged by Japanese authorities as a senior member of an organized fraud group running a phone scam. Meanwhile, Imamura was arrested in 2019. He faces several arrest warrants in his country for theft. The two were deported after criminal cases against them in the Philippines have been dismissed. Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla said both tried to evade deportation by conspiring with locals to file cases against them. The duo was deported for violation of the terms and conditions of their visa for being a fugitive as well as being a risk to the public interest. Immigration Commissioner Norman Tansinko said the identity of Luffy is not yet confirmed, but they are working with the Department of Justice and Japanese authorities to expedite the deportation to give more clarity to the case. Japanese authorities believe Luffy to be the alleged mastermind behind a string of robberies in Japan, operating remotely using an encrypted chat application from a detention facility in Manila. 2 other Japanese fugitives up for deportation are Watanabe Yuki and Saito Tomonobu. Senator Raffy Tulfo said he wants liquor licenses for sellers in a bid. Senator Raffy Tulfo said he wants liquor licenses for sellers in a bid to curb teenage pregnancies. Tulfo made the statement during the Senate Committee on Women, Family Relations and Gender Equality hearing, saying he knew of several cases of teenagers becoming pregnant after a liquor drinking session. The neophyte senator likewise pushed for prohibiting students, especially those in high school, from going out of the learning institution during school hours.
Siguro po, isasuggest ko, i-legislate natin to na magkaroon ng liquor license ang lahat ng mga tindahan na nagtitinda ng liquor. Kapag nag-violate ka, nagbenta ka ng liquor sa minor, kakansila yung lisensya mo forever. Hindi ka na pwede magtinda ng liquor. Kapag nagpumilit ka, pwede ka makulong.
Tulfo also called for cooperation between key government agencies and social media applications to address teenage pregnancy. The senator urged the Department of Education, the Philippine National Police, and the National Bureau of Investigation to work with popular platforms such as TikTok, Facebook, Bigo, Alua, and OnlyFans to ensure that their users are of legal age. He proposed having users submit a valid ID as proof they are of legal age to enjoy the services.
Marami na bubuntis dito, Madam Chair, because they explore. Kasi pag papasok ka dito sa Bigo, Alua, OnlyFans, then magdi-display ka ng talent mo. And then yung mga lalaki, mga matatanda, kadalasan, ng mga hangol, kung sa Bisaya, takaw na takaw, utos, sige nga, maghubad ka nga, sige nga, magpakita ka ng ganito mo. And then later on, yayain yung bata na makipagkita sa kanila na bubuntis yung bata.
After 2 seasons with the Adelaide 36ers in Australia's National Basketball League, Kai Sotto is taking his talent to Japan after signing with the Hiroshima Dragonflies in the 2022-23 B.League. Hiroshima announced today that Sotto will be their Asian import. The B.League team said it has been eyeing Sotto for a long time, but its priority back then was last year's NBA draft. The Dragonflies are happy that they signed Sotto in time for the ongoing season, where they are holding a 27-9 record. In a statement, Sotto expressed his gratitude and said he is looking forward to play for the Dragonflies. Hiroshima said it fully supports Sotto's ultimate goal to make the NBA, which he will continue to pursue after this B.League season. Sotto, who went undrafted in the 2022 NBA draft after his first season with Adelaide, averaged 7.1 points and 4.5 rebounds in 50 games during his second season. Alamin naman natin ang mainit na balita sa mundo ng showbiz kasama si Irvin Santiago ng Bandera. Irvin?
Hi Neil at sa lahat ng mga kabandera natin all over the universe. Ito na nga ang latest Bandera Chika. Ibinuking na nag-iisang superstar na si Nora Honor ang young star na pagalitan ni Gina Alahar habang sila'y nagtitaping para sa isang teleserye. Kwento ni Ate Guy, natakot daw talaga siya kay Direk Gina nang bigla itong mag-beast mode dahil sa pasaway na celebrity na mukhang hindi sineseryoso ang kanyang trabaho. Sabi pa ni Nora, tama naman daw si Gina Alahar dahil nga kahit nasa trabaho raw ang nasabing young star ay inuuna pa ang paglalaro kaya hindi nito nakukuha ng tama ang kanilang mga eksena.
Yung sa isang kasama namin artista, tapos sumigaw talaga siya, natakot ako, sabi niya, late ka na nga, tapos hindi mo pa makuha yung mga gagawin mong eksena, kung ano yung arte mo. Talagang natakot ako talaga, pero totoo naman po yung sinabi niya. Kaya, hindi na rin ako pinag-uula. Tama din eh. Sa loob ko lang yan. Pero yung talaga siya, pagdating mo sa set, dapat alam mo na kung ano yung gagawin mo. Huwag kang hindi yung pagdating mo sa set, maglalaro ka pa, hindi mo pagkaaralan yung mga eksena, yung dialogue at lahat. Siyempre nga naman, pag-take at hindi mo nakuha, magagalit sa iyo yung director mo.
Ayon naman kay Direk Gina, kaya raw niya tinalakan ang young star ay dahil nahihiya siya kay Ate Guy na palaging ready kapag ro-rolyo na ang mga kamera, samantalang ang ka-eksena niya ay tila walang pakialam sa kanyang trabaho.
Kasi ikaw ang ka-eksena niya. Ikaw naman ang ka-eksena niya. If, kung pare-pareho lang silang mga kabataan, siguro I wouldn't mind. But because ikaw yung ka-eksena niya, I was expecting that kailangan may sistema din siya na memorize niya yung linya niya, alam niya kung anong gagawin niya, and kung ano man yung instruction sa kanya, masunod agad. O yun. Kaya po nagalit because unang-una, nahiya ako sa'yo because you did your part.
At yan ang bandera chika natin today. Thanks, Neil.
Salamat, Irvin. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Catch Inquirer today live weekdays at 6 p.m. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.